earning on a daily basis.
Rotary Kasigwa, you faded out.
I think he got a network glitch, but I see he's joining us again.
Oh, sorry about that. I think it was my network. Okay, so sorry about that. So going back to the presentation. So why do you need this financial solution? So number one, we issue a competitive interest. Right now, the average
screen is still very small.
Oh, really? Sorry about that.
Yeah, you just need to flip your gadget. You could be, I know you could be using a phone or a tablet. Just allow the screen to, that's much better.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's much better.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President. So why do we need this financial solution? Number one, the collective investment schemes where we mentioned about the unit trust, we give average interest of about 10.5% to 11% per annum. Now, when I mentioned that the interest is earned on a daily basis, this is then broken down into 365 days to reflect the daily rate. So every day that you have invested in the collective investment scheme, the investor then earns average interest of about 10.5% to about 11%. I checked yesterday our interest was about 11%. So that is broken down into 365 days, whereby every amount of money that has been invested in the unit trust is earning interest on a daily basis. Now, key to note is that the interest is then compounded. Now, compounded interest means that what is earned today is then added onto the principal and then carried forward the following day. So that means that on a daily basis, the investor is earning interest. And then remember that the previous interest that you also earned are also accruing some interest. So interest is earned on a daily basis, and then it is flexible in a way that you are allowed as an investor, for example, to invest in any amount of money, but also you are also allowed, for example, to be allowed to come out. So meaning it's an open, most collective investment schemes in Uganda are open-ended. So you have the flexibility of depositing any amount of money. You can imagine minimum amount of money for a person to invest in the unit trust is 100,000 Uganda shillings. So you are then allowed to be able to invest in, and any amount of money that you get, you can always make regular top-ups. Remember that interest being earned on a daily basis. So the fund manager then looks at how much money do you have at the end of the business day, and then you're able to earn the interest. Most collective investment schemes in Uganda allow you online access, where you can always log in and check the run of your account. You say, okay, how much money did I start maybe with beginning of month? How much money do I have at the end of the month? Now, most collective investment schemes have zero withdrawal charges. So when I mentioned that you are allowed to withdraw, one, you can make regular top-ups, but two, you are allowed to withdraw from the fund at any point. And the key to mention is that there is no withdrawal charge. You can even deplete your account. You can say, okay, how much money do I have? Maybe I have 2 million shillings. There is a need for this money. How much interest have I earned? You're then allowed to be able to pull out. And then we also keep your account, for example, for about 2-3 years, even if you have not made any transaction onto your account. In terms of certainty, where I mentioned that you're able to access your money. So when you have invested in the collective investment schemes, you're then allowed to access your money. But you access your money within 24 hours. So as opposed to, for example, so if there is a need, for instance, you say, okay, there's something I want to do. When you want your money, you apply. For example, you apply, maybe you need money on Tuesday. I'll send my application on Monday. The following day, you have the fund. So in terms of accessibility, you have easy access to your money. Remember, your money is making more money for you. But then at a point when you need it, you're able to access your money. Now, collective investment schemes are exempted from withholding tax. Now, this is a very important point. What happens is that the interest that is earned, we'll talk about 10.5%, 11%, the interest that is earned is net return. Now, in most cases, we compare ourselves with fixed deposits or treasury bills or bonds, whatever. Now, you find that when you invest in the collective investment schemes, the interest that you're earning is net return, no tax on it. So you enjoy the exemption of the tax. So meaning if it is 10%, you know that you've earned your 10%. And what is also key to note is that averagely you see about 10%, about 11%. So the interest is fluctuate. It's a floating return. It's not a fixed interest. So what happens is if it goes up and you're able to always check and see, okay, how much money do I have in terms of interest? How much have I earned? Remember, end of month, you get a monthly statement to see how much you have invested and how much interest you have earned. But also, you are also allowed to check online and see the run of your account every single day. I want to give an example. In the financial literacy programs that we've been doing, the gentleman I met, and he told me when COVID hit in 2019, there's a project he was running. So he said I needed to be liquid. So he had about 50 million shillings on his account. So he decided to stop the project that he was doing. Now, that money remained on his bank account. He did not fix the money because he wanted to be liquid. Remember, that is the time when bills were high, wherever everything when a person got sick, you'd find maybe every day they're spending a lot of. So I said, no, I want to have some money looking at it because in case of anything, I should be able to go. So just an emergency fund. He kept that money 2019, 2020, 2021. Remember, he had stopped his project. He had about 50 million shillings onto his account. And in 3 years, there was no additional amount of money onto his account because he hadn't fixed the money. When we did these presentations, and we told him the 50 million shillings that you had, on average, every year, it was able to generate for you about 5 million shillings. When we did the computations, the gentleman found if he had invested in the unit trust over a period of 3 years, 50 million shillings, on average, he would have earned about 15 million shillings in 3 years. But remember, the money was sitting on the account. There was no additional income on it. And in fact, by the way, when he checked, it had actually reduced by bank charges. So these are some of the investments that are in the market. Right now, it is a very big financial mistake to keep money for a week on your bank account. Money must be multiplied every single day. And I think even the Bible talked about it. Remember the three people who are given cents. One did not multiply the money. One multiplied it. And even when Jesus came, he said, the one who had multiplied was very happy in terms of accountability for the one who had multiplied the money. So right now, it's a wise decision for you to be able to think about how can you be able to multiply your money. I know sometimes, for instance, right now, that people are accessing their midterm access from NSSF. Before you think about the project that you're going to run, how about opening up an umbrella trust fund where you can put your money, even if it is invested for 1 month, you know that I'll be able to earn something. Somebody who is thinking about retirement, for instance, you have worked for so many years, you're going to retire, you've never done a business. Why not think about an investment, an instrument where you're able to invest your money, but also you are guaranteed of some interest or every single month. There's a gentleman we had a discussion with, and invested about 200 million shillings. 200 million shillings generates about 2 million shillings every single month. I said, okay, I've picked this money. I can be able to withdraw only the interest. End of month, I'll just send a redemption. I know I'll get my money within 2 days. Let me pick my interest from a collective investment scheme where I know my principal is guaranteed, and I'm just getting my interest every single month. So when you invest in the collective investment schemes, number one, you have peace of mind. You know that there is a person, a professional fund manager who is investing on your behalf. You don't have to look around to check what is happening. All you need to see is how much money have I been able to make. So you just relax, wait for end of month to check how much interest you've been able to generate from the collective investment scheme. These funds are invested within the region. 90% of this money actually is in bonds and treasury bills. So we look at interest-bearing instruments. We also fix some money. So if a person says, I think I am interested, for instance, in investing in a unit trust, in a collective investment scheme, what would be the requirement? Number one, for instance, if you're a corporate, maybe it's an investment club, maybe it is an association, maybe it is an NGO. We just think about a passport size photo, identification, certificate of incorporation for an organization, a bank statement, or a cancelled check. Reason that is asked is tomorrow when you want to redeem your money, we should know where the money goes. Then also a resolution to be able to invest under the umbrella trust fund. If you are an individual, and we highly recommend right now, it would be very important to run a bank account, but also run a unit trust account. Don't keep money onto your bank account for a long time. The money should just hit your account, and then you transfer the money to a unit trust where you know you're earning interest every day. Don't leave the money on the bank account. All we need is just a passport size photo, a recent bank statement, and a copy of the national ID. As low as 100,000 Uganda shillings, you're able to open a unit trust account. So we need to think about making smart choices to invest this money. Some people might think maybe it's very expensive to invest in the unit trust. Someone can even say, let me just give it a try to see how it works, what they're talking about. Is it real? Is it happening? Right now, we have about 5 fund managers in Uganda. So you are free to choose which fund manager to invest in, but it's very, very important to make sure that you multiply the money that you have. So from me, it's just to encourage each one to be able to think about how we can multiply our money. Somebody mentioned that information is power. However, information is power when it is applied. So from me, I want to thank you very much, Mr. President, and the entire team, Rotarians, for giving us this opportunity to be able to give the information to the members and to think about how we can be able to diversify. You can go into maybe real estate, starting up a business, or whatever, but it's important for you to think about how you can be able to multiply your money in non-risk investments. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Edgar, for those wonderful insights about how we can be able to safeguard our money, our resources, but also earn a little more. Financial growth and financial literacy is usually very critical and a very important aspect of each and everybody of us. And I know that you have redeemed time for us to be able to have a good engagement and interaction with you. Allow me invite Super Lady Rotarian Jane Opito to kindly take us through the interaction session. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you, my president. With great honor, I would love to do that. Thank you, Edgar, for being precise, short and sweet. I would like to invite everybody in the chat room. I do not see, but I do have an opportunity to give people a chance to raise up their hands and be able to unmute and ask questions when and if they're ready. Yes, our Safina, please go ahead, unmute and ask.
Thank you very much, Changemaker President and Super Lady Jane and our guest speaker tonight today. issues of finance and the economics and so on are bread and butter for Dr. Nywei. I saw First President Kibet in the House and Dr. Timothy. I just want to ask our guest speaker today, what are the risks? You know, some of us will, and considering my background, we tend to fear the risks so much. What are the risks of this venture that you are telling us?
Thank you for that question. Could I have somebody, Olivia, who has her hands up, RC Bukoto, to also ask, and then Edgar, you go for those two as we get some others from the chat room. Go ahead, Olivia.
Thank you, Edgar. My question is about the charges, the taxes, on when I'm withdrawing my interest. I want you point out on investment groups and individuals. Where are we taxed as individuals, as investment groups? Thank you.
Edgar, please feel free to respond to those two as I look for others in the chat room.
Thank you very much, Rotarian. So the first question is about the risks associated. So number one is that, like I mentioned, these funds are invested in interest-bearing instruments, and they mostly in government bonds and treasury bills. Those are non-risk. That's the first thing. Number two is that the interest is not fixed. So as an investor, when you're looking at where you're going to invest your money, especially when you think about collective investment schemes, the interest is floating, but average. So when we talk about average interest, 10.5, 11%. In the market, it's very competitive. And you see, for example, at the end of the month, when you've invested your money, you're able to check the run of your account to see how much money have I earned in terms of interest. So you see the floats, you say, okay, this is fluctuating a little bit. 10.3, 10.4, 10.8. So some investors, in most cases, you think when you're going in, you're expecting a fixed interest. It's a floating return. It keeps on floating. The beauty is that on a daily basis, you're able to see. And you also have an access online where you can always check and see, okay, this is how much I've earned in terms of interest. So in terms of risk, I don't see a big risk. You only need to make sure that you appreciate the fact that the interest is floating. It's not a fixed interest, but average, you look at about 10.5, 11%. In terms of taxes, right now, collective investment schemes are exempted from withholding tax, and there are no charges of withdrawal. So whether you're an individual, whether you're an investment club or an association, when you invest in the collective investment schemes, there is no charge on withdrawing. The way you have your money is the same way it will hit your account. So us, from the fund manager's perspective, there are no withdrawals, but also inform you on the progress. And that's why we're able to allow you an online access, for instance, to check the run of your account. But every single month, you're able to look at a statement which reflects the interest that you've been able to earn. So there are no taxes, and there are no withdraw charges. Maybe also what I want to mention is that the collective investment schemes in Uganda, especially the umbrella trust funds, are regulated by Capital Markets Authority, and UBRA is the Uganda Retirement Benefits Regulatory Authority. So like all the mutual are regulated, we have two regulators. It's because also around the retirement benefit schemes. So part of the information can be picked, for example, from the Capital Markets Authority on how best to invest in the collective investment schemes. And I want to confirm that right now, the public is embracing the fact that it's very good to multiply your money on a daily basis. And we are seeing a lot of progress. Also, a lot of so many people have started really opening up and appreciating, especially now picking a lot of funds from people who have access to their midterm, but also people who have retired, but also a person who is seated in office and you have money onto your account. It's good to be able to invest in the collective investment schemes. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Edgar. I'm just requesting you to be a little bit steady with your network. Some of the information is bypassing us. It would be unfair of me to leave my mentor, Mike Sevalu, whose hands is up. Please, that is the last question from the hands up. Then we go to the chat room. Take it on, Mukulu Mike.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're doing pretty good. I'm very proud to be associated with your Rotary journey. Thank you very much, our presenter this morning. You can't give what you don't have. As someone who is very knowledgeable about this subject area and who is a practitioner, can you use your example to demonstrate how profitable this undertaking is, giving specific examples of what you invested and what you are getting out? If you are not offended, that would be a very good way of demonstrating how profitable and sustainable this kind of investment is. So may you please share your own experience so that we can pick a good leaf from that. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Edgar. We have a couple of other questions on the chat room. So I would kindly request you to take less than a minute, but be as informative as possible. Go ahead, Edgar.
Thank you very, very much. So thank you, Rotary and Mike, for that good question. Obviously, you can't give what you don't have. And the truth of the matter is, personally, I invest in the unit trust. I don't keep money on my bank account. I invest in the unit trust. The beauty is that I would have demonstrated by my personal statement. The beauty is that when you need the funds, you're able to access your money. Now, I want to give an example. For example, if you invested 100 million shillings, on average, you look at about 980 or close to 1 million shillings every month in terms of interest. What is also key to note, Rotary and Mike, is that the principal is guaranteed and the interest is added onto your principal. So, for example, in month 1, your principal was 100 million shillings, you've earned interest of about 908 or close to 1 million shillings. So in month 2, we are carrying forward a principal of 101 million shillings. So what it means is that the interest you earn in month 2 will be based on the principal that was invested plus the previous interest that you earned in the previous month. So that's when we talk about the compounding interest factor, that's when it comes in. So to give that example, 100 million shillings would be generating for you about 1 million shillings every single month. When you want to pick on the interest, you're allowed. But if you want to leave the interest, then it also compounds and it keeps on accumulating. And like I mentioned, you're able to see how it is compounding. I hope I've answered you, but I would also love to have the personal discussion, a one-on-one, Rotary and Mike, to be able to appreciate this on a personal level. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much, Edgar. You have been precise. So, Edgar, there are a couple of questions. The first one I would like to read is, what are the requirements for a joint unit trust? And if you can visit me privately on my own discussion, is that possible? Do turbulent financial times affect the fund? That is the second question. Do turbulent financial times affect the fund? And then someone else is asking, okay, when are you providing a facility where deposits are made by mobile money? Please go for those 3 as we continue with the others.
Thank you very much for those good questions. Number 1, the requirements for joint investors are more or less the same like the ones for individual applicants. It's an application form that is filled, and all this can be done online, by the way. So you don't have to walk to offices to be able to open a unit trust. You can be able to access that form, fill it in, attach a copy of your national ID and a passport size photo. We'll open for you the account. We send you an email for confirmation of account opening, and then you're able to transact. Now, I'll combine that with modes of payment. So we already have a facility where you can pay by mobile money, and that's why wherever you are, you can be able to transact. So we have one custodian bank. If you're doing deposits, the money is then transferred to Standard Chartered Bank. But then you can even use an agent as long as you quote in the narration your account number. So when you open the unit trust account, we then give you an account number. So for all transactions that you're doing, then you're able to indicate the account number as the narration, and then we'll share with you a receipt confirmation of that we've been able to pick the money. But also you have a contract note every time you do a deposit. So yes, we have a mobile money platform, and that information can as well be shared where you can be able to transact. So you can pay through a bank, you can do a transfer, you can do mobile money, you can use an agent to be able to transfer. Now, is this affected by turbulent financial times? So the interest is based on the performance of the funds. And that is why we advise the investors on a daily basis. But also every end of month, you're able to check the run of your account. Now, someone will ask, for example, when the pandemic hit, how are you performing? Surprisingly, we're performing very well. Our interest has not dropped so much from, it has been averaging 10%, 10.5%. So depending on the performance of the entire fund, and right now we are really doing very well, depending on the performance of the fund in the market, you're given advice. Somebody even asked me, so what if your interest drops? So it means if I am looking at what I earned the previous day, and remember, I have easy accessibility to my funds. If I'm not comfortable with the interest that you've been able to, to declare, then I'm also at liberty to be able to come out of the fund. So if I'm not comfortable with what you're offering in terms of interest, so I've gotten maybe something better. The beauty is when you invest in the collective investment schemes, you're not tied. It's not like a fixed thing that you have to be there for all this long period. No, you can see the run of your account. If you're not comfortable with the interest, you can be able to pull out. But the truth is, most customers that we've had, they have maintained their accounts because the interest is really very attractive. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Rotarian Jen, are you still with us? Maybe as we wait for Jen to bounce back, we will take the two questions from Olivia Chomhendo, followed by AG James Onyoin.
I asked my question already.
Awesome. Then kindly lower your hand. AG James, please voice your question.
Thank you very much. Mine is not a question. Mine is a compliment. First of all, Edgar, I'm very proud of you. You've made a very great presentation. Maybe for your information and other members, I chair the audit committee at UAP Old Mutual Insurance. So I'm very proud for what you've done. This is a great job. I just want to relate to what Dr. District Governor-elect Mike Sebalu talked about. I will give you a personal example as well. I do run umbrella fund unit trust at UAP. In fact, I opened all my accounts online. I didn't have to go there. I can testify that the interest that he's talking about, I add it on a daily basis. I can also testify that I opened a joint account with my wife, Marion. So we have a joint account, also open online. It is real. All my children have accounts at UAP. So as they grow, their money is growing. Not only the money I put, I also encourage them when they do something good at home, we reward them. And that money goes to the UAP unit trust. So every child, I have 4 children, every child has an account. Me and my wife, we have a joint account. It was opened online. We're earning interest daily. We get statements on a daily basis. And the other thing about worries about the economy, by the way, unit trusts rarely do badly because the government borrowing does not reduce even if there is COVID. In fact, they borrow more money during COVID, for example. They borrowed more money during 2020, 2021. So all this government borrowing you are seeing about, you saw about the government debt, the domestic debt. Most of that debt is to UAP trust funds. And because they put this money together and they are able to lend money to government in a big way through the bonds and treasury bills. So those bonds and treasury bills, their interest, at least in my recent knowledge, they have never reduced. So members, a good testimony. I will not mention how much money I have there, but I can assure you I'm earning on every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AG James. We can only imagine how much man an AG and a doctor has. But thank you very much, Edgar, for the wonderful, wonderful and excellent presentation that you have made that has really much enlightened us. Allow me right now invite none other than Rotarian Elizabeth to move a befitting vote of thanks to our guest speaker this morning as we begin to land the plane. Rotarian Elizabeth, kindly unmute and give a befitting vote of thanks to our presenter this morning. Elizabeth, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors and guests, Daybreakers, permit me to give a vote of thanks on behalf of all of us on call this morning to Mr. Edgar Kasigwa. Mr. Kasigwa, thank you for choosing to spend time with us. Your passionate and knowledgeable sharing has definitely enriched each of us individually and all of us collectively. It leaves us better equipped to leverage the benefits of collective investment schemes to boost our personal incomes. There is a famous proverb which says, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. Thank you for highlighting the power of compound interest, professional fund management, tax-free interest. These are all very interesting. Another famous book says that two are better than one. So thank you for showing us that there is power in collaboration. You have touched on a very pertinent point in these times that we live. We are grateful for this session and do invite you to stay for that Chumeza session if you can. Thank you once again. Over to you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Rotarian Esther. Edgar, right indeed, there is a certificate of appreciation that is presented to you virtually this morning. Kindly receive it, but at an appropriate time. None other than our CPA Nalongo nominee, Esther Kakuba, will make sure that she presents this certificate to you physically. And I will also interest her to reserve and preserve the hug that accompanies this certificate so that you'll be able to receive it. But we sincerely appreciate your time. Thank you very, very much, Edgar.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Awesome. So friends, I would like to right now invite you, Rotarian Stephen Wakasenza, to please give us the roll call of claps. Over to you, Wax.
Thank you, President. We have been blessed with 138 participants, 34 Rotary clubs, 3 Rotaract clubs, and 3 guests. I'll go through the list quickly with the Rotary clubs. Rotary Club of Weyogere Nambole, Rotary Club of Bukoto, Sunrise, Seguku, Webaja, Makindye, Kampala Morning Stars, Ntinda Metropolitan, Sonde, Mengo, Maisha, Ntinda, Kampala Alibad, Buloba, Muyenga, Kampala Metropolitan, E-Club of Uganda Global, Kiwatule, Mitiana, Kampala, Seven Hills, Kampala, Upper Kololo, Lubaga, Lakeview, Nakawa, Ijaz, Nigeria, Kiwenda, Kampala South, Kampala Impala, Port Bell, Namasuva, and Kololo. If I've not mentioned your club, please update us on the chat. And the club of the day is Sunrise on account of numbers in attendance. The Rotary clubs present, SETA, Mulago School of Nursing and Midwifery, and Deje City. We were blessed with 3 guests, Miss Fiona Nsima, Miss Lydia Lynn, and Mrs. Marion Onyoy, the silent guest, and our Nalongo nominee. Back to you, President.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Wakasenza, for the wonderful. Again, I would like to really add a voice to our apologies to any of the clubs that for one reason or the other we could have left out. Receive our sincere apologies, but do register yet again in the chat section. We'll definitely get to recognize and consider your attendance. Once again, friends, before I can invite Rotarian Faith Tushabe to give us the final toast, I want to say thank you very much to each and every single one of you that has made it for this meeting today. It is always a great honor, privilege, and joy for you to be with us. We don't take it for granted, but allow me in a special way appreciate all our leaders and our district officials. Thank you very much for making time to be with us. Thank you very much, DGE Honorable Dr. Mike Sebalu, for always being with us whenever you can. We don't take it for granted. I want to appreciate all the Changemaker AGs. I want to appreciate all the amazing AGs on call and my colleagues, the Changemaker presidents. Thank you very much. I want to also appreciate and recognize the amazing presidents that will be holding the bull by the horn come the 1st of July. We really appreciate and celebrate you, but more than that, we wish you the very, 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 very best. And like our governor says, go for nothing short of gold. So Rotarian Faith Tushabe, as I also appreciate our international partners from District 9214, led by our very own Jaja Muzungu. Thank you very much for always being with us. And thank you, POP Donna, for leading the team there as well. I want to request you, Rotarian Faith Tushabe, if you can please give us the final toast as we come to the end of our meeting today. Rotarian Tushabe, over to you.
Thank you, President. I hope I'm loud and clear.
You're very, very audible. Go right ahead.
Good morning, everyone on call today. For the wonderful fellowship that we've had today, for the financial information that we've been given, and for the enlightenment that we've had today, may we give a toast to Rotary International.
Rotary the world over. Thank you very much, friends. May God bless you and make you a blessing.
Rotary is over.
Thank you very much, President. President, last Wednesday, I was at Wovelens. I have a banner that I was requested to deliver to you from that club. They appreciate you so much.
Awesome, awesome.
They want to work with you on the 7 challenge. That
7 by 7.
7 by 7 that our DG is talking about. So we'll further talk about that.
Thank you very much, AG Isafina. I will only request that you keep that banner very well, and on the 30th of this very month, all roads will lead to Fairway Hotel, where we shall have our last physical fellowship, where I will be sitting as president for my last fellowship. And it is really it's going to be our recognition and appreciation fellowship. So all daybreakers, I will be going there. So please come with the banner so that you can be able to present it physically and we will receive it. And I know that amazing President Edward Mugerwa is on call. And you've rightly heard that the Rotary Club of Wobulenzi is really ready, excited, and geared up to work with us as we enhance basic education and literacy in our country. Thank you very much, friends. Having said that, I will request that the Chimeza will start off officially, but I will request that you allow me leave you under the stewardship of none other than AJ James Onyuen and maybe some of our rest of the colleagues, as I have an urgent engagement that I'm really, really rushing for. But I appreciate and celebrate each and every single one of you, friends. Thank you very much. I feel indebted to every one of you for the great and amazing support that you've continued to give Daybreak. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Ta-da!
Okay, thank you very much, CMP Frederick and members. This is now the Chimeza, and I want to believe, Edgar, are you still around?
Yes, yes.